So Alan Dowser is my name. I am the CEO of a company called Reaching For, and I have a very simple mission in life. My mission is to give CPOs, HR leaders, learning and development leaders the data and the tools to help them develop, to help them retain their best and brightest talent. That's what I do for a living. And so what I'm going to focus on for the next 30 minutes for this call is the data part. I'm going to take you through some data that talks to the impact that AI is having upon the workplace. So let's get straight into that. I always start my sessions with the data from McKinsey's. Now, what McKinsey is saying in their latest research is that 25 million employees are going to be redefining their futures between now and 2030. That's about 5 million employees per year in the US, in Europe, and in Australia. Those are the territories that their research has covered, about 25 million. So we can expect about 5 million employees within our organizations are going to be impacted by AI, meaning that they will need to redefine their futures. Now, I was reading some research from Goldman Sachs recently, and they had a slightly different spin on it. They said that up to 300 million employees globally, will be exposed. Their word was exposed to automation as a consequence of AI in their work. So AI will start to automate aspects of their work, and that's going to impact about 300 million employees. And that's why I call these sessions on Fridays kind of Freaky Fridays, because we get into some very freaky data. We're not quite sure what exposed means or the impact of exposed. But thinking about that data, that can be quite exciting on the one hand, but it can also be, scary, a little bit scary on the other hand. Now, Kristalina Georgieva, who's the managing director of the IMF, this is my kind of go-to quote on the impact of AI on the workforce. Artificial intelligence is hitting the global labor market like a tsunami. We have very little time to get people and businesses ready for it. Very little time to get people ready for it. She should know. So these are the topics I'm going to cover. Number one, how is AI reshaping the futures of our employees? What can we expect? I'm going to introduce you to something that I refer to as the unstoppable career transitioning wave that's coming. The unstoppable career transitioning wave that's coming. It's going to affect all of us, every organization, all employees on the planet. It's coming. And then I'm going to switch gears a little bit. I'm going to talk about how AI can be the catalyst for jobs, for new jobs, for skills. In actual fact, it can be the catalyst for the reinvention of ourselves, leading to higher performance. So these are the topics that I'm going to cover on the call. Let's start off with some data. This is the one slide that I always share to CPOs and HR leaders, L&D leaders, when I'm talking about the impact of AI. This is some research that came out from Accenture, and it appeared in some articles that were published by Citi Research. One in particular that's called AI in Finance, Bots, Banks, and Beyond. Bots, Banks, and Beyond. You can find it, AI in Finance, Bots, Banks, and Beyond. That's the name of the article. But what Accenture did was they looked at the impact of AI across industries here. And they looked in particular at the potential for AI-led job displacements. And the way to read this chart is that the bars equal the following. The blue bar here, let's take banking, for example, equals the potential for AI to automate work, the potential of AI to automate work within banks. The light blue is the potential for AI to augment work within banks, and the gray bar is low potential for augmentation. and automation. Now, the big news here, if you look at banking, for example, look at this. 2/3 of work, 2/3 of work carried out in banks is going to be automated or augmented by AI. 54% of work completed in banks is going to be automated by AI. Think about that for a second. Over half of the work that takes place in banks is going to be automated by AI. In insurance companies, it's 48% of work, and so on and so forth. You can look up and down these industries. You can find your industry, and you can start to get a view of the potential of work within your industry, within your organization, that's going to be automated by AI or augmented by AI. And it goes from 20% at the bottom here all the way up to 54% in banks. In actual fact, the industry average here is 31% automation, 9% augmentation. That's 40%. 40%. AI is going to impact, let's just think about this for a second, 40% of work on average across these industries, 40%. So it's going to have a big impact. It's going to have a giant impact upon work. Now, when we look at banking, we can extrapolate the following data for banks. 702,000 jobs in the US banking industry are going to be automated out of existence by AI. 702,000 jobs can be automated out of existence by AI in the US banking industry, and that's already started. And 2025 is going to be a huge year for this. It's going to be a huge year for automating, the automation of jobs out of existence. Boston Consulting Group looked at insurance companies, and in particular looked at the operations departments with insurance companies. And they concluded that 40% of claims related jobs, claims management related jobs in insurance companies is going to shrink. That means they're going to disappear. 40% of claims management jobs are going to disappear in insurers. 70% of policy management jobs are going to disappear. 70% of policy management jobs are going to disappear in US insurance companies. Well, in fact, globally, insurance companies globally. A company called ECL Economics did some research on the entertainment and media industry, looking at creative types of jobs. And they concluded that in the US, 203,000 creative jobs are going to disappear because of AI in entertainment and industry. In insurance companies, by the way, it's 268,000 jobs. 268,000 jobs are going to disappear because of AI. So the effect of AI on jobs across industries is profound. And then, of course, we've got the latest, generation of AI. These AI agents are coming along. Agentic AI, I think it's referred to. It's the latest buzzword, isn't it? Agentic AI, AI agents. And we're hearing that there's going to be 1 billion AI agents in operation across sales and service organizations by the end of fiscal year 26. 1 billion. 1 billion. So the effect on jobs, the effect on work of 1 billion AI agents being in operation across sales and service organizations is huge. It's huge. And I think, these numbers that we're looking at here, in my opinion, are looking more and more conservative day by day by day. Let's come back to the McKinsey research. I want to drill down into the McKinsey research because I want to understand it a little bit more. So this is the US. This is the US. And they do a report like this for the US, for Europe, and for Australia. In the US, these are the 10 million jobs that are going to be affected here. These are 1 million jobs here, 1 million jobs. Now, the difference between these types of jobs are that these are what McKinsey's refer to as declining occupations. These are rising occupations, and these are growing occupations. So the types of occupations that are going to be hit the most by AI automation: office support jobs, customer service and sales jobs, production work, food services job. This is probably data that you are already familiar with. But also don't forget, we've got 1 million jobs over here in rising occupations, like, for example, creatives and arts management, and mechanical installation repairs, and even over here, 1 million jobs that are related to STEM, STEM professionals. 1 million STEM professionals are going to be under threat from AI automation. But those 25 million, as McKinsey referred to them as career transitioners, are what I want to talk about, because I want to ask the question, where are 25 million career transitioners going to go? Where are they going to transition to? Where are they going to transition to? Hold that thought for a second. I want to look at jobs. I want to look at the US jobs market. This is the US jobs market from 21 through to 2024. And you can see what's happening in October 24 in the US. Only 12,000 new jobs were created. Only 12,000. And also, if we go back the last 2 months, which was August, September, those job numbers were revised down by about 100,000. And you can see the waterfall that's been happening here from 21. Look, this is what's been happening in the US job market. I call it the waterfall effect, to the point whereby jobs are literally going to be flat. I actually predict that the number of jobs that are going to be added in the US will be flat all the way through to 2030. I mean, there will be some ripples, but it's going to be essentially flat. The US is not adding jobs, Let's look at separations. Total percentage of separations in the US is down to about the same level it was, or even lower, before we had, the Great Resignation. So that tells us that employees are not separating from employees. They're not quitting. And also, we know that employers are not separating from their employees. This is why this period is referred to often as the big stay. Employees are staying longer with their employers. So we've gone from the Great Resignation to the big stay. Jobs aren't being added. Employees are staying much longer with their employers. And so if we're not adding jobs and employees are staying longer, where are these career transitioners? These 25 million, where are they going to go? They must be going to new careers internally within their organizations. So just hold that thought for a second. Let's come back to this chart. Look at this chart for a second. This is the jobs. This is the waterfall effect I was talking about here. Look at what's happened here in 21. We had millions and millions of employees that resigned and started new jobs in 21. And that means that by now, these employees are in year 3 of their roles. Year 3. I refer to them as the year 3ers. And this is interesting because we know what happens after year 3. Year 1, we're learning the job. Year 2, we're putting in place programs and strategies. And then in year 3, we really knock, the ball out of the ballpark, year 3. And then what happens in year 4? In year 4, we start thinking about, what's next? What am I going to do next? Where's my career going to take me next? So think about this for a second. On the one hand, we've got 25 million career transitioners, who are looking to transition from their existing career to a new career because AI is going to automate their roles out of existence. And then we've got these 21 year 3ers that are moving into year 4, looking at what's next. So we've got this almost like this perfect storm of career transitioning, and it's coming. And this is what I refer to as the unstoppable career wave. It's coming to all CPOs, it's coming to all HR leaders, it's coming to all learning and development leaders. And I'll talk about the impact it's going to have in a second, but it's coming. It's coming. But of course, there's the other side of the coin. Because AI is also a job catalyst, it's a catalyst for new jobs. Of course, the jobs that are going to be displaced, people are just going to move into new jobs that are created as a result of AI. And my go-to person for thinking about the types of new jobs that are going to be generated is Jorg at UBS. Jorg runs the AI Center of Excellence at UBS. And he recently published an article called AI in Finance, Job Destroyer or Career Catalyst. And one of the statements in this article, really interesting article, I would encourage everyone to read it. Many new career paths are going to emerge. This dynamic shift is creating exciting new opportunities for employees willing to adapt and grow within the organization or even within the industry. And he references 7 examples of new types of career pathways. Let's look at the 7. AI ethics officers, financial machine learning engineers, AI human interaction specialists. Whoa, AI human interaction specialists, quantitative data scientists, AI compliance analysts, algorithmic trading strategists, AI enabled financial product innovators. The thing that strikes me about the list, the Magnificent 7 list, as I refer to it, is that 5 of the 7 have AI in their job title. 5 of the 7 have AI in the job title, either ML or AI in the job title. So I think we can expect to see, if the financial industry, financial services, banks, types of organizations are kind of the tip of the spear, the tip of the spear in terms of what's going to happen. We can expect to see, millions of new jobs being created with AI ... in the title. It's AI ... AI ... AI claims officers in insurance companies, AI compliance officers within banks, and you all know what types of AI ... roles are already starting to emerge out of these center of excellences that are growing within your industry, within your organizations. You're probably already starting to see it. And if you're not seeing this emergence of the AI ... title, you can expect it to be coming your way. You can expect it to be coming your way. And then there's these agentic, these AI agents, these 1 billion AI sales and service agents. I mean, think about these sales and service agents, 1 billion of them. My question is, who's going to manage them? Who's going to manage them? I mean, you can't just let these AI agents kind of roam free, within your organization, taking on all of these new, automating all of these processes that were originally done by humans. Someone's got to manage them. Someone's got to, manage the creation, the monitoring, the governance of them. The prompt engineering work that needs to get done, the quality control work, the liaison with the AI data teams to make sure that, if there are any anomalies in the data, those anomalies get addressed quickly. Someone's got to do all that work. I don't know what the ratio is, 1 to 10. If we say that these career transitioners, are going to transition into roles like the Magnificent 7, or roles that are essentially going to be overseeing and managing AI agents, then the ratio is going to be somewhere in the region of 1 to 40. Now, I mean, I know that there's some big assumptions behind that, but you get the point. And this is the point. This is the point, that these career transitioners are going to be transitioning their careers to this. And we better be ready for it. We better be thinking about, what are the roles that are most impacted? What's the to, the from? Where are they coming from? Where are they going to in terms of new jobs? And then, of course, there's, the monumental reskilling job that needs to get done to reskill these career transitioners. Just think about that for a second. It's going to be on a level, a reskilling tsunami that we've never, ever witnessed before. It's going to be huge, and it's coming. It's coming. So I'm just going to leave you with this slide, because I think this slide is, where we get to in terms of what should we be thinking about. What should we be thinking about? The first thing I think we should be thinking about is, what's the extent of job disruption within our organization? What is it? Do we know what it is? Do we know what, roles are going to be disrupted? How many of our employees are going to be affected? Do we get the data? Do we understand the data for our industry, for our organization? Do we know what these new career pathways are going to be for these career transitioners? Because remember, career transitioners are going to be transitioning internally to new career pathways. So what are these new career pathways going to be for these career transitioners? How are we going to transition them? How are we going to communicate to them? What does that plan look like from and to? What does it look like for our company? Now, it might well be that you're in an organization whereby, there's only 100 employees, we're talking about 10, or it might be, 100 employees. It might be 1,000 employees. It doesn't matter. These are people. They might well be family members. They might well be friends, colleagues. We want to make sure that we have a good plan for them. Then, of course, we get to the skills. What new skills are these career transitions going to need, and how are we going to reskill them? What's the reskilling effort going to be, at JP Morgan, for example, or UBS Bank, to transition their career transitions to become managers of these AI agents? What does that look like? What does it look like? Have we even invented the learning plan for this? Have we even thought about it yet? But it's coming. And then, of course, it leads to, higher performance levels. But higher performance levels means, for CPOs, for HR leaders, it means, high performance means higher costs. It means, higher pay. It means that, for example, that, those employees that have always been the best performers, the gap between them and perhaps, those other employees that, are not on the same level as our best and brightest. What AI is going to do is it's going to close the gap. It's going to close the gap between them. Let me say that again. AI is going to close the gap between our best and brightest and everyone else. It's going to close the gap. And because it's going to close the gap, it means that a larger percentage of our employees are going to be thinking that they should, be paid more, for example. Higher performance should equal higher pay, equals higher cost to HR. And HR need to be prepared for that. And of course, there might well be employees that do, leave. So what are the costs associated with leaving? COBRA, health insurance costs, payroll taxes, remuneration costs, redundancy payments, payments associated with helping them find new careers outside of the company. What does all that look like? So my question for CPOs, my question for HR leaders, my question for L&D leaders is this. It's a simple one. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for the unstoppable career wave? Because it's coming. It's coming. And it's going to have a big impact upon every single organization on the planet. All right. Few minutes left. For those of you that don't know me, for those of you that haven't worked with me, you can go to my LinkedIn page and read all of my articles associated with the Unstoppable Career Wave. You can go to reachingfor.ai and you can register to receive my Unstoppable Career Wave articles that I publish on a regular basis. And I'll make sure they arrive in your inbox if you found this session useful. If you want to understand more about the tools that we have to help you transition your employees within your organization, I'd be delighted to talk to you about how we can help with career transitioning. You can reach out to me, alan.d@reachingfor.ai, alan.d@reachingfor.ai. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for attending this session this Friday. I hope it was useful. If anybody does have any questions, please feel free to stay on the line and I'll answer any questions that you might have. For those that need to get going and move on to what's next, thank you very much for attending this session. Thank you.